It's been a while actually. So there's this lady that she goes to villages or like poor neighborhoods and she tries to help teenagers that are pregnant. And apparently in Nigeria there is a problem with teenage pregnancy. Now, as somebody that likes to look into the future or like the repercussions of things, teenage pregnancy is one of the main causes of poverty in a country because this is children raising children, and it doesn't end well for anybody, not for the children, not for the mother in question, because according to statistics, women who give birth before they start earning, before any stable source of income or before the age of 25, find it very hard to break themselves out of poverty. So they're going to be in that poverty state and raise children in that state. And majority of these children end up becoming criminals and, you know, being into shady things because of the way they grew up, because of the high levels of poverty that they grew up in. And yeah, putting into consideration the side effects in a couple of years with the surge of teenage pregnancies is going to be devastating on the country itself. And people are telling parents to pay more attention to their kids. Apart from parents, there's something that happens in poor neighborhoods slash rural areas. Any community where the entertainment there is limited, like in the cities, you have parks, you have clubs, you have uh just different activities that can like distract people. Any area where you don't have such things happening, the only form of entertainment becomes sex. I grew up in a village. Partly after my mom died, I was moved to a village. I was about 13 as at the time. You see kids as young as 11 years old trying to be grown because that's all they know. And it's very sad that still in 2025, an average Nigerian adult or even teenager don't understand what grooming is. Because I'm seeing comment sections of those teenage pregnancies and it's just people laughing about it, talking about, oh, these girls, they love to do stuff. You know what I mean by do stuff now? Yeah, like they love to do stuff too much and it's like a joke. Grooming is so deadly that at the beginning it makes the person depressed, but as a teenager, you just have this feeling like you can't say no. So the more somebody bugs you, no matter how bad that thing is that the person is asking you to do, you will eventually do it, even if you don't want to. All the person has to do is be consistent, and they can make you do anything. And I feel like this part should be told to the teenagers that, look, you are like this, you're this gullible. So for them to know that it's a problem. When I was in secondary school, let me say this. I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but male teachers, I don't think so. I don't think so because what they do is they groom the kids from teaching the young boys to lack self-control. Yes, they teach the young boys, those teachers, they teach the young boys to lack self-control. Then they teach the young girls to be like promiscuous. This is a personal experience when I was in secondary school. I was about 14, 15 at the time. So were people in my class, 14, 15, 16. And there was this teacher that we had. He was dead ass convincing everybody, all the women in the, I say women, all the young girls in the class, that it's very good for us to give birth now. That was his advice. Like almost every teaching, at the end of the teaching, he just tries to like play around, and that's the topic he always talks about. That you need to give birth now. That because as your body is developing now, if you give birth now, your body will now develop like properly. Like I'm like, what does that even mean? Like I'm trying, then I understood it. I was 14, so it made sense to me that, you know, now that like your body is not fully developed, if you now give birth, your body will now reshape, now develop properly. And you know, we were believing him until I was also believing him until he made a reference, used someone as a reference. There's a girl in the school. I didn't know she was a teenager till now. I don't know how old she was as at that time. I thought she was this auntie, probably in her 30s. That was how she looked. And going to school, I think I was in, was it SS1 as at the time? And she was not there. She was not in SS1 with us. She was not in SS2 or SS3. So I was like, maybe not auntie and stuff. And she has a kid. So he now used her as an example that don't we see her? That don't we see how fresh she looks? That was my like, you are fucking lying. She looks so rough. She looks so rough for a teenager. Like that see now she has had a kid and her body is now developing properly. No, she looks. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to like make her feel bad, but based on she's a kid, she doesn't even know what to do for herself after giving birth. Things just spiraled out of control. Now he was using this girl as an example for us. This girl was gang raped by some of her teachers. It was a community school, so there was like no teachers. So it was like people from the community that were volunteering to teach the school. One of her teachers with his brothers kidnapped the girl. Apparently she came to school early. She normally comes to school early to a point where, because when I came to the village newly, I was always going to school early. It was like a way to escape and stuff. And one of my classmates warned me, was like, stop doing it, stop coming to school early. That somebody was kidnapped and for days they couldn't find her and stuff. And apparently it was that girl, the girl that the guy was using to do example for us, that can't we see how she's developing properly. She was kidnapped, gang raped, she got pregnant from it, and she gave birth to the kids. Only for me to go and find her in the junior secondary section. I've forgotten what took us there that day. What took us to the junior secondary side, because we normally don't go there. And we can't even see them based on the way the buildings are structured. They're facing different directions. And I went there that day. She was in JSS 3, which means she was younger than us. She was younger than my classmates then. So I don't even know how old she was when she had that baby. I was stunned that day. I'm like, wow, she's in JSS 3. And this was the person that this teacher was using as an example for us, trying to convince us that it's better for us to give birth as teenagers when we don't have any source of income. We don't even know what we want to become in the future. Frontal lobe has not even developed for you to know if you even want kids or not. So, grooming is a thing. The parents need to be aware of it. It's very dangerous, like I said earlier. With grooming, you can make somebody put their hand inside fire, and they will do it with their full mind. The parents need to be aware of it. The kids need to be aware of it. Grooming looks like the highest form of love there is. So if you're somebody that watches like fairy tale movies and you're seeing all the so when you're being groomed, you relate it to that. You start seeing it as, oh, this person really. I'm done.